Welcome one and all to the first episode of Zine Chaos. I'm your host, Chowclips. Today we'll be looking at some cool zines. So, all of these zines were printed at home using my LaserJet printer and cut up and folded and all that stuff by me. And I just like how they look. Sometimes I add a bit more of a personal touch to them. So I decided I'm gonna cover a few zines which I personally think are pretty cool. So what's gonna be the definition of a zine being cool? Instead of starting to ramble philosophically about the definition of coolness and what it means to axiomatically be cool, instead I'll just say that I'm not gonna define it and it's just whatever I think looks neat. There are no rules, basically. First, I should probably tell you how I make these zines. So, what I use is this huge fucking stapler, and definitely not compensating for anything over there. This is just a long arm stapler that I use to staple down and just make some zines. I also find it helpful to have this thing. Okay, so this is like a paper cutter that I got, and yeah, it helps me cut up zines so that there's no excess paper sticking out, because that does bother me. And for some zines, I like to clip off the corners, so I use a paper corner rounder thing. I don't know what they're called. Corner puncher, I think they're called. Anyway, I use this, and it has a small, medium, and large, and I can basically do that, and it will round off the edge for me. I'm just gonna put this in here. I'm gonna press it down, and there you go. Look at that, perfectly rounded. So yeah, I use this for zines that I want to make look a bit more professional. And with all that said, let's jump into it. So remember how I said there were no rules? Yeah, so the first zine is not gonna even be a zine. This is a pamphlet, a very cool looking pamphlet that I printed on hard cardstock. And it's called the Doomlands by Nate Tremay. And this is pretty awesome. It's not a hex crawl because there are no hexes. What do you call this? A grid crawl? Well, whatever it is, it's really cool how in just essentially like a single page, you have all this information about the world. Actually, let me zoom that in a little bit. The Doomlands. The Doomlands are a cursed and brutal waste on the face of the broken earth. Littered with ancient relics of the golden past, it does attract desperate treasure hunters. A few caravans pass through the Doomlands, but they are rare and expensive to travel with. To find the treasure of the Doomlands, you must go where caravans do not. But beware, many would-be Dunelanders have been swallowed up by sands, or more likely the worms. So we got a bunch of missions here, depending on which kind of guild you're gonna be with. Let's roll some dice actually. Tree, the mechanical guild, so I will have to acquire 3 AI chips. There's a caravan generator here, which is very cool. D66 items that you can find on your journey. And this is a bit more information about the setting proper. Let me just read one of these. Let's go with the Sun Gazers. Sun Gazers, a cult that worships the sun. They desire to be consumed by its heat. Living in Singapore, I cannot empathize with that. I despise the sun with all of my heart. Okay, so yeah, on the back here, we can see some more stuff. This is supposed to be what they call a gatefold, so you can open it up like this, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we have a bunch of locations, and we also have some places and events of interest. I feel like you could randomize these, and this would be great for just solo hex crawling. Wait, no, it's not a hex. For grid crawling, yeah. Let's say we start off in the sands. Let's just roll up an encounter. Let's see what we get here. 17. We find shards of polished aluminium. Why is the aluminium there? Who polished it? And what it could mean is up to you. Let's try another one. Let's say we're going through the slabs, I guess. So that's gonna be a D8. That's gonna be a 5. Decaying feral worm corpse. 3 sludge roaches and their robot leader are extracting its teeth for pop production. And pop is... yeah, here we go, pop fiends. Poor souls addicted and transformed by the drug pop. Pop is made from the ground teeth of feral worms. Extended use causes cracked, dry, rock-like skin. and yellow glowing eyes. 1 can of pop is worth 5 drams of water in trade and in use. So yeah, this is a great little grid crawl gatefold pamphlet, that's a mouthful, by Nate Treme, which you can use to run many sessions, I think. I think this is great for solo play as well as for group play. I haven't tested it myself, but I think it will work pretty well. And I might do so in a future video, maybe. Okay, so let's move on to something a bit more traditional, and that's going to be my copy of Maze Rats. And the only reason I include this on here, well, everybody knows of Maze Rats, right? The reason I think that this is really cool is because I printed it on blue colored paper, and I, after printing it, drew this little rat on top with a pen. And that's basically the main reason I'm showing this off. I think a lot of people know about Maze Rats. It's great for generating pretty much anything you want. Monsters and animals, characters, you got all sorts of stuff, treasure and equipment. Yeah, it's great for generating out stuff, especially if you're like hex crawling. I just think this is a very handy book in a very nice form factor, and I wanted to show it off. Now that I think about it, even though I've referenced this book so many times, I've never actually played Maze Rats. Maybe I gotta change that someday. Oh well, next book. Actually, before the next book, we have a sponsor for this video. Yes, that's right. The first ever sponsor for a video on this channel. And that sponsor is me. That was less dramatic than I hoped it would be. But yeah, I make a bunch of stuff. And here's all of it. Not all of it, but a bunch of it like printed out. Look at that. I guess out of all of these, the one that has the most significance to me is Lair of the Frog God. I really like how this turned out. I printed it on this textured paper, and the ink kind of like came off as well, and it created this really cool look. And it was like the first adventure that I ever made, and I ran it with a group, and it was great, and everybody had a fun time. And you can buy this on the official Karen store. Also, Solitary Depths now has a print-on-demand option on DriveThruRPG, which I don't have myself yet because shipping takes forever. And that's it. I swear I'm gonna just stop shilling my stuff. I'll get it out of here. Okay, so the last thing is the impetus for this entire series. There's this fantastic artist called HODAG, and he's worked on a lot of projects. And I've worked on some projects that he's also worked on, which I consider to be an honor. And I just love his art style. He has this mailing list of like zine stuff, and I signed up for it. And I don't think these zines are public yet, but I assume they will be in the future. He asked me if I could do a review, and I said I probably won't, and I can't promise, and I'm gonna do a review right now. So, yeah. So first, we have HODAG RPG's HODAGGER. Issue 1, first Daganish, whatever that means. Just $10, cheap. An OSR magazine, and I think this is, oh, look at that art. Look at it. It's so good. So, as far as I know, he just made all this without any layout software. He just literally drew it on paper and scanned it in, which I want to do that sometime. I think it's so cool. People like Horoscope Zine also do that, which, yeah, I'm just stunned by how they come out. Let's see, 1d6 tables. I haven't really read through these zines that much. I wanted to give a proper first impression. I did look through it a bit, but, you know, not that much. So, yeah, let's roll for one of these. 2. Assassin's Guild. Alright, let's see what our Assassin's Guild is. 4. The Butchers of Bayport. Nice. Created by HODAG RPG. Summer of 23. Low magic, low tech, low level. I wonder if that's how he actually looks like. And if he actually has a pug. And if the pug actually wears the crown in real life. Yeah, god, I love this so much. 100% free art, put it in your own zine or game. Oh man, look at that sword. I don't know if that'll work in real life, but it looks cool. Yeah, just like analyzing this art, it just all looks so nice and hand-drawn, and it has soul to it. It's something that I find hard to do with my own art, but HODAG does it effortlessly, like, you know, has that impression of a homemade feel. Let's see here. High Arc. Having split from the low arcs, At a crucial point in their sociological development, the high orcs are the Eloi to the orcs Morlocks. While some groups have remained staunchly independent, countless factions have allied themselves with human groups, just and unjust, alike in cause. High orc culture often places an extreme emphasis on a social contract and collectivism organized on an individual sect or group structure. High orcs are a player option that works as a type of human option for OSR play. In terms of game mechanics, they act just as human characters, except they are limited to a few prerequisites and restrictions. They may only achieve the 12th level of experience. Any type of weapon may be wielded by a high orc, but they may not wear any armor type that will bind their arms or head. They may carry a shield or wear braces also. Regardless of class, a high orc must have a strength score and a constitution score of 10 or higher. They may worship any human deity or their own god, a cultural hero called Gillet. They must always never receive no penalty. Let me read that again. They must always never receive no penalty for using two-handed weapons, and always have D10 hit dice. High orcs, for when you're too snobbish for regular orcs, and you really want your humans to be more like meatheads. So yeah, we got like a stat chart here, which is fantastic. Warrior high orcs are big fans of chainmail. Nice. And here we have like a little comic, The Party in the Golden Treasure. Let me zoom this in. Deep within some perplexing ruins. A great artist, by the way, Perplexing Ruins. Just a side, kind of. I don't know if that's a reference to like the artist, but Perplexing Ruins is a great artist. Anyway, look, a secret door. Not so fast, Traversia. That secret door is hidden behind an even secreter trap door. I like how the secret door has an S on it. That's a really nice touch. Using incredible dexterity, Pris the Halfling leaps across the trapdoor and disables the mechanism so it's safe. Yup, I didn't know Pris was so spry. He is a wonder yonder. Quickly, let's see if it's gold. It's better than gold, Traversia. The real treasure. Lemon. Night fruit pies. A delicious snack that doesn't exist. Yowza. Wow, that's... Okay, so this is the first time reading this comic, and I didn't expect it to go in this direction, but I am glad that it did, because that is amazing. Okay, what else we got? Check it out, here are 6 NPC portraits. We got Bob, Robert, Bobbin. Wait, wow, an original HODAG RPG sketch. I think this is probably because in the zines that HODAG is sending out, he's actually going to be drawing in them, which is very cool. I unfortunately do not have original HODAG RPG sketch. Do I have a pen somewhere around here? Okay, I'm gonna draw my own and pretend that it's an original HODAG RPG sketch. Yeah, the best presents are ones you make for yourself. So yeah, other than, let's see here. Where were we? Bob, Robert, Bobbin, Bark, Brilla, Banjo, and Kazooie. Those are my NPCs. Wow, look, a free locker / desk poster. Heroes in a dungeon. Oh, that's a great drawing. I love the hatching on this. It's so nice. So cool. The background looks like it was made with like a marker if I look real close. That's really, really nice. Oh, a map. Okay, I'm not gonna actually map this one out right now, but I probably will at some point. Thematic ideas though. Bandits hideout, Goblin's lair, Warlock's fortress, Witch's coven sanctuary. Fill it in with your own foes and treasures. So this is a DIY zine, if that makes sense. We got a map, need a setting map, fill this one in. Nice. And finally, we have the Scholar City, Bayport. Wait, that's the thing that we rolled up at the start. The Butchers of Bayport. Oh, nice. Yeah, we have a bunch of like descriptions for each area and district. And this is actually quite detailed. So I imagine that this is quite usable actually. We got a lower market here, Argon Street, Turnras Apothecary, Bakery Row, Statue Circle, Smithers Gallery, Turn Street, Merchant Guild Tower, Graveside School, Garment Lane, Pardoners Bridge, Sarrow Hall, Protester Circle, Slaughter Road. I love how evocative the names are, makes me want to make stuff for it. And on the back, we have a character sheet. As far as I know, this is like for regular BX or OD&D games. But hey, now you can have a cool character sheet and be better than all of your friends. So that's HODAGGER, issue 1. Okay, as for Dungeon80, I actually was starting to record, but then I stopped it and I read the rest of it off screen. The reason why is because this is not something that I expected. It was a full system. So it's a full RPG system in this small zine, and it has pretty much everything that you need. It's quite interesting to me and has a lot of content, but I think because of how this is written, some parts of it are a bit confusing to me. So there's a lot here. It does have a heads up that D80 was created mostly stream of consciousness style, and probably is going to have some errors, flaws, or omissions, and to house rule anything away. And it does seem like a very interesting system, and it does have a lot of very cool art as well. It's just that I find some of the stuff hard to understand, like the combat, particularly like in terms of the numbers that are written for the classes as well as for the monsters. They're so terse that it's hard to understand whether they're the defense score or they're the defense score for the other party, if that makes sense. I think it's the defense score for that monster or that player character. The reason I say this is because as it gets stronger and stronger, the numbers go higher, so I assume this is the defense for that creature. It also has a sample dungeon, goes through the mechanics. I do like a lot of this, like the treasure table here. There's a lot of stuff packed into one page. For different rankings, there's different treasures. And there's also tables that are more agnostic. These can be used to create scenarios and hooks for your game. And also a quick realm to build on or get inspired by. Levels of achievement. There's a lot here. There's the character sheet there. And I feel like you could run a full game of this. What I would like to see in maybe a revised edition is a bit more clarity. But otherwise, I really like it, yeah. This was supposedly a game that asked the question, what if those early dungeon crawler board games were an RPG instead? And actually today, I'll be getting my copy of Hero Quest, which is going to be my first dungeon crawler board game, so that's timely. So this is Dungeon97, which is an expansion for Dungeon80. And it brings with it a lot more stuff. It has 4 new character archetypes. It has a setting, the village of Benton, with characters, personages, and places. It has a whole lot more monsters, along with a bunch of treasure that you can find for them. Also, the monsters actually use the defense stats for the Archer, Blade Master, Caster, and Devotee, which are the newer character archetypes. There's a small note section here that says that if you're using D80 characters, Archer equals to Borrower, Caster is a Mage, Blade Master as Warrior, and Devotee as Elf. So all of these would still work with the base character classes. So overall, I do like this quite a bit. I would highly recommend picking them up if you can. I'm not sure when or if HODAG is going to be putting these on itch.io, but I will be linking his tweet, which mentions where you can get them. So yeah, that is the first episode of Zine Chaos. And if you like this and you would like to see more of it, do all that YouTube nonsense, subscribe, like, comment about what you thought, and you know, in the immortal words of HODAG himself, try not to be a jabroni. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!